Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. My name is Glennis, and welcome to my kitchen. Today's recipe is a healthier version of my traditional banana bread. Healthy, healthy, healthy. If this is a recipe that you are interested in, or you just want to come and hang out with me for a little while, and I always hope you do, then keep on watching. I'm going to go as quickly as I can with this particular recipe. This recipe makes 2 loaves. I figure if I'm working in the kitchen, I've got my oven going, it's snowing today, it's cold, I don't mind having my oven going, but I'm making 2 loaves. I have 2/3 of a cup of melted coconut oil. If you would prefer to use extra virgin olive oil, that's fine. It will give you a little bit more of a earthy flavor. Or if any kind of a high quality vegetable oil, or you can use unsweetened applesauce is a good substitute too. I have 1 cup of maple syrup. If you do not have maple syrup, 1 cup of honey. I've got 4 eggs here, very well beaten. I've got 2 cups of mashed ripe bananas. I have 1/2 of a cup of, I believe it's either 1 or 2% milk. It really doesn't matter. If you want to use whole milk, 1%, 2% skim milk, you can use water if you prefer. But this is 1/2 of a cup. I have 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I will be adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I have a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and I may add a little bit more ground cinnamon on the top before I bake it. Now in here I've got 1 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. Now if you want to use just all whole wheat flour, that's fine too, but what I've done is sometimes I find if I just use exclusively whole wheat flour, it's a little, let's see, how can I say, kind of dense and tough and, you know, a little bit chewier than what I prefer it. So what I've added here is 1 3/4 of a cup of bread flour. So I basically did half and half. 1 3/4 of a cup whole wheat, 1 3/4 of a cup of bread flour, or if you have all-purpose flour, that's totally fine too. And I have, since I'm making 2 loaves, I'm going to add, I believe you guys have seen, I have some little mini chocolate chips. I'm going to add a few, and I mean just a few chocolate chips to one of the loaf, and one of the loaf I'm going to leave just as like for breakfast, something like that. And 1 for like, kind of like just a little bit sweeter. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my maple syrup, or your honey, whichever you prefer, to your coconut oil, or whatever kind of oil that you're using. You know, and this is truly one of those recipes where you can just kind of, and if you do use coconut oil, and if you find that it is starting to solidify on you, all you have to do is put it in the microwave 10-15 seconds. That should be totally fine. I have tried to bring everything to room temperature as best as possible, but it is very cold today. It's a cool day. I'm going to add, I'm going to add my bananas. Let's see how, and I find that when I take bananas out of the freezer to use in a recipe like this, I microwave them until they are defrosted, and you know, in their skins, just like as they sit. I find it really enhances the banana flavor. So I'm not shy about doing that. I'm going to add my milk or water, whichever you have. If you have almond milk, that's okay too. And I can see, yeah, you can see where it's just starting to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up. And I'm going to pop it in the microwave before I add any eggs or anything to it. So if you guys will give me just a second, I will be right back. So far, this is the best that I can pull off from the microwave, but it's looking a little better. I'm going to add, yeah, that's okay. I'm going to add my eggs and give this a good whisk. Give it a good stir. And probably about this time, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 325. Going to add my salt and cinnamon to my flour, along with the baking soda. That should be okay. I'm hoping this bowl's going to be big enough, guys. Oh my goodness. Or I should say y'all. Let's just see how this is going to work. This is going to be interesting. Oh yeah, it's going to be okay. I probably, as usual, will make a mess, but... And I do have a larger whisk, but it's not my favorite. It is just not my favorite. I decided to share this recipe with you guys because I know my other banana bread is pretty decadent, pretty creamy, but there are actually a few like calculators online for recipes that you can input all of your ingredients, and it will, if you say, just 10 servings, 12 servings, or something like that, and it will give you all of the nutritional breakdown of any given recipe. As long as you stay with the ingredients that you are actually using, that's what you're going to get. So for 1 loaf of this particular bread, and to slice that into 10 pieces, so that's not a big, thick, chunky thing. It's, is 220 calories. And I think that's pretty good. I think it is anyway. Go ahead and get the rest of this and make sure I have all of this. Scrape my sides down, and it's looking pretty good, guys. Y'all. And there we are. Just get off the bottom a little bit. You don't have to stir it too much because you certainly don't want it to be tough. And the reality is you're not going to get all of the bits of banana and things like that out. So let me get this mess cleaned up and grab my pans, and I will be right back. So I've lined my bread pans with a little bit of parchment paper, and what I did, instead of using butter to grease anything, I just went ahead and used my coconut oil. And I'm going to just get these divided up. I'm going to get this one going. This one I am going to just make just a plain Jane loaf of banana bread. And so what I've done before I've realized it, now I do have this one, it's going to be plain Jane. I started to put some in my cast iron, I forgot, okay, I forgot my wee mini chocolate chips. So I'm going to put just a few in there, and really, guys, just a few, not many. I just want to, you know, not sit and eat chocolate, but I just kind of want a little taste here and there, y'all. Let's see if I can get this happening. And yes, I'm absolutely going to, of course, bake these off, and then I will come back and have a little taste. I mean, it's really very, very healthy. But I still don't want to overdo it. And these are going to be really pretty. I think I can tell, usually you can tell when you're, you know, making a batter, you can tell how it's moving and what it looks like, and you know, if it's too thick, if it's too thin, you know when it's going to be good. And this is going to be good. This is going to be delicious. And then what I'm going to do on top of the one with the chocolate chips is I do have some pecans. I'm going to just put a few right here. Just give them a bit of a stir in. You don't want to have them totally just laying on top. Pecans, probably walnuts too, definitely almonds, I found out the hard way, have a very high fat content. And if they are not in some kind of a dough or a batter, and if you just lay them up on top there, they are going to burn. And it's not going to be a good thing. So 325, 55 to 60 minutes. And of course, I'll skewer them and bring them out. So y'all, we are going to dig right in on these. As you can see, they've already been cut. I did have some for breakfast this morning, just the plain here. And I couldn't have asked for a better looking loaf of banana bread. Healthy? Oh yes. This is, my goodness, so good. But I want to show you the plain one. And not that it tasted plain. And this is the one that I put just a few little mini chocolate chips and a few nuts in. And that's good too. They're both good, but I want to slice this up for you. And I want you to see this holds together very, very well. Give you a good look, very well. I'll show you guys. This is really so tender, so nice. Now, if you decide to use total whole wheat flour, then, you know, your result might be a little bit different, but half and half is what I used. And I mean, it's, you know, a huge, huge thumbs up. I hope that you give this a try. And this, when I sliced this, I did slice each loaf, or this one actually, into 10 separate slices, so that my nutritional information, which is 220 calories per slice, so I would have a, you know, a good idea. And this is 220 calories. Oh, you know, but this is the size of slice for 220 calories. And I think that's a really, really awesome bonus. Thank you guys again for joining me here home at the Hollow. Bye, y'all.